Okay, yeah, so I'm making a video. I have been like quite ill for some time, so it's been kind of difficult getting the video kind of how I wanted it, but it's okay, it's a work in progress. Yeah, so I've invested in the Vorpal blade. This is a collectible artifact from Alice Madness Returns. So yeah, it's an oversized kitchen knife. Lewis Carroll wrote a poem about it. In the actual game, I wanted to do some research on professional blade handling, so I am probably going to try and make like an action sequence with the blade, like eventually when I get more like professional practice. I mean, it's kind of like I'm having to practice myself almost. But I saw like different unboxings and it just wasn't like the same really. Yeah, so and I wanted to make a few moves that aren't in the EA like AI realm as well. So yeah, as someone who is kind of like not part of a mass understanding of the game industry, I'm just gonna hold this to my outfit. I am learning more about it kind of through having purchased the outfit. So my housemate mentioned, for instance, like the back of this has buckles on it to kind of give the authentic like design that differentiates the standard Victorian outfit. And also then I added like, I mean, I've got like Adidas shorts underneath for practicality, and then like stripy tights. So yeah, all good things. But yeah, my hair isn't 100% on point, but so yeah, it did have puffy sleeves, but personally, like, I really wasn't a fan of it, so I just like chopped them off. No, I didn't chop them off. I cut them off, and yeah. So I watched the making of the blade. Part of the method on how it's made is that it's actually like laminated. So I will link that video in this description box. I love like that as somebody who works in stationery, there's like terminology that is meant for like machines in just like a standard stationery shop, but it's applied to like a kitchen utensil that's more like warfare utensil equipment. So yeah, I just like in the unboxes that I've seen, I didn't see any with like anyone like role playing the character or having like studied the research of it. This did have an apron as well, but like because it, I don't know, like it didn't look that flattering because of the ruffles. Yeah, so basically this also has a stand, and yeah, I just liked that the box has like this like wand vibe to it, so it just like means a lot to me to kind of own an item that is used to kind of like defeat demons and in Wonderland and like evil spirits in the video game, because I think it just helps in real life. So yeah, so when sorry, I have really been ill, so it's just not the most pleasant of things, but still try my best. When Alice approaches the Cheshire Cat, part of the script, the Cheshire Cat says the Vorpal blade is swift and keen for service. So Alice responds, "I've not come for a fight." The Cheshire Cat says, "Really, that's a pity. One is certainly looking for you." Um, I find this like to be one of the most sinister, kind of like hard-hitting realities of the game. The script is like beautiful. Um, it shakes away from the mundane parts of the game. You've got like the constant knife attacks. I made a recording of like the sound of it. The only thing is like the quality isn't that great. But like the horror of it is like very real life. So I'm gonna play the recording of it. Just because, yeah.
Certainly not find a hatter, Alice. He knows more about different things.
But does he know more about the difference between bad and good?
Working friends, Alice. You're as random people and entirely confused as you ever were.
I've managed without you so far, Alice. Return to whatever hovels friends you. I'll call if I need you.
Predictably rare. The sort of question is Alice is when. Now hold on, and as they say, shut up.
Say that to me. I've made more graceful entrance in.
Okay. Yeah. So the sound is like beautiful because there's something like really sparkly, almost about the music in the background, and it's accompanied by very well put together sentences. There are lots of like versions that have come out. Some like were awful, so they don't even blend like the pixels together to give like seemingly a form of reality. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna put the knife away because it's like obviously like it's just an artifact. It's a blunt blade, but it's quite frightening because it is like a magical weapon. But yeah, so just put it away. I keep it like locked away because yeah. So because I'm sensible. So yeah, I don't think it's a good game in terms of like the morality of it. So there's a channel called I'm a Real Human that made a review of the early McGee game, describing that it was how English schools looked like, so with tortured children, and they depict this like graphically how they torment them, like they have like it's quite like directionless the game. The doors are hanging out. The reviewer addresses the shocking reality kind of how horrific these images are that we don't want in real life scenarios but happen anyway. So it's very different to the Hysteria McGee quality that has more kind of like almost a runway kind of view of it. So it's like, yes, fashion. But really the outfits are signifiers of torture or battles that Alice went through. So you have like from the royal suite that is like a red burgundy, very like thick, dense royal blood outfit. Then you have the variant from the Lewis Carroll outfit that is not light blue and blonde, it's like navy and she has black hair. The outfit I was supposed to, so like you just have like there are lots of different outfits for different levels throughout the game. The outfit I was supposed to have like has an unlucky hoof necklace, but they didn't like send it, so I'm making kind of do with what I have, and yeah, combined it once again like with the discount Adidas. So yeah, I do also have the figurine, which is beautiful. Once again, ta-da! So this is like from the Diamond collection. So basically, I invested in it just because, like, out of like love for the character. I thought it was beautiful, and she has like a mini Vorpal blade, so it's like matching me. Obviously, though, like she has like blood coming out of her eyes, and yeah, this is supposed to be post-torture vengeance, and then at the back, this was the slightly like first costume she wears, and then this is her image like pixelated. So yeah, like she's really adorable, but she's really angry at what happened. So like I just kind of like relate to her, just because I don't know, like I actually think like there's parts of the game, not all of it, that are just like so close to real life. Like I feel practically qualified for this role, which is kind of like a scary thing, but to be honest, anyway. So yeah, it's a beautiful thing. So she gets this outfit, this one, after being in the asylum, where she got tortured. Like her hair got shaved, and she wore a sack when she got tortured, like in her brain by Tweedledee and Tweedledum. So in this world where fantasy like is real, obviously anything is possible, like beyond reality to an extent. One of the things though, like for instance, Mickey designed a heart for the moon, like in different paintings that aren't even like in the game, as part of the interior design. So yeah, like mental health is dealt with in a very abstract way. Yeah, so there's loads more abstract world design on the EA website, which is awesome. It's got, once again, also just a very like thought of design with like depth to it. It lists as well like the journey of the different stages of grief. So slumber, shock, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, testing, and acceptance. And the characters them are overall is the main character, the enemies, and the bosses. So yeah, there's an entire index on the extent of information there is. So much like of the information is really difficult to relay. So it's interesting to kind of just further look into that. It actually, quite shockingly, I found like it got criticised for not being horrific enough. So there's like a downplaying of it, which is quite outrageous, because people have the same passion for fantasy depiction as they should for almost like crime reports to an extent, or that this makes it available to a younger audience. Which I don't know. I haven't thought about these things too much. So considering this topic, also, I think it's like, I don't know. I think it's kind of like supposed to be an identifying character for like disenfranchised people. So the abstract realm is not one for projecting onto. Like for instance, I think there's a comment on like blade possession and like demonic destruction, where it says like it's all a big race to the bottom. EA, Activision, and other big pubs are engaged in. Expect it to get worse before it gets better. You can't escape. So what it does is bring people back in a time period that they thought had passed. Why I identify with it, it's a bit too close. Yeah, so people still can't really distinguish with the base problems of what is real or not in it. A lot of kind of what I'm saying is quite a bit disjointed. But like it should make sense on a whole. It's because there's so much information that I can't pack in one. So the first step, like I think we don't kind of get to really go in depth of like the problems that arise in it, and kind of like once again, you know, it's marketing like the concept of like torture and things like that to like quite a young audience. So I mean, like I do think that some more thought has to kind of go into that. But it is like a very strong female character to an extent. It's not supposed to, yeah. So, in a world where it's like extremely full of oppression and absolute like insanity, the character kind of like does like prevail. So yeah, there's a quote about the makers of it, and it says, "I've said it once, I'll say it again. I think companies like EA, Sony, Microsoft, etc. have a beautiful model for making money. So yeah, there is this problem. The currency in the game is fantastical currency. None of it is the business acumen or actual currency needed to get a person out of hysteria. It's the person who has like major mental trauma and her battle. So yeah, like for instance, like she will attack certain items and the currency is like in teeth. And yeah, so I think we should kind of definitely pay attention to the material, at least that is in front of us, and how important it is. So Alice Madness Returns, I think, is like really designed on survival and the continuation of like this one set character, and yeah, I think they're trying to put some sort of like danger signs as well on the actual, or they're considering putting danger signs on the actual product, which I think is interesting, like similar to like how they would with smoking, for instance. Yeah. So with regards to like slave labor and disease in the 21st century, there's a lot of problems kind of faced in the game as well, with kind of like once again like horrific depictions of, you know, like snouts that have to be collected and things like that, like pieces of like pig and just random things. So yeah, so de-glamorization of mental health, I think, is connected to the exploitation. It's really more a battle where the boundary has been crossed. That's why I think it's awful for it to be kind of like etherealized. But yeah, it's definitely kind of one of my, well, it's my only favorite game. I might kind of like explore more video games depending on the script. I mean, I had to write the own script that I wanted to the game for this video to kind of like accompany it, as well as like style, the outfit and whatnot. but yeah, I think it's, it is difficult when it's like, obviously, there is a divide, like, between uniform and uniform that's like not real, but then certain concepts like will cross over, and because of that, there's a lot of like confusion, and you know, I think it's just one of those stories that will probably like keep on being built on. People are already remaking different, you know, not formats, like, but different takes of what they think it is. So yeah, I mean, I know kind of like what having a video game like that influenced me in my life has meant, like in real life. But then again, like, I'm a person that takes some things like very I don't know, like, I don't really expect them to, and part of me almost like I don't want them to, but they do tend to become quite real. So yeah, so it's almost like having part in the different actions and interactions within that set, you know, like, thing. So yeah. Anyway, that's that. God, I really hope I don't have to film this again, because I've had so much anxiety trying to film this, because I've just been like ill, and there were so many things I actually wanted to do, but I couldn't, because and I'm just stressed out beyond kind of like how I should feel whatsoever. Um, so it's the best I can do for now, but anyway, thank you to whoever does like listen to this. That's great. It does have like amazing information, and hopefully I will be making some more actual like action sequence to it. Yeah.